What did you see happening in cybersecurity that nobody was solving?
So what we saw that nobody was solving was basically the data movement problem. We did see back in the early days, and to this day even, a lot of DLP type solutions, so data loss prevention type products, but they had underlying problems associated with the technology, and they are, it's not running on the endpoint typically. It revolves around data classification, and we thought, wow, it's a really interesting idea about solving data movement. And that's when we sort of invented BlackFog and thought, if we could really do what the EDR does as a perimeter defense type technology, but use anti-data exfiltration type technology to stop data flowing out, I think that could be a really unique opportunity. But interestingly, when we invented this technology, it actually evolved from back in 2012, of course, GDPR, and we thought, wow, we've got a really unique opportunity here to solve privacy problems. It turns out everyone talks a great game about privacy, but no one's actually got the budget to implement it or cares enough to actually pay for it. So when we went to market with our product, and we'd been perfecting this technology, turns out it went to the legal compliance department, which has no budget. And so they would say, well, all the money lives in IT. And then we thought to ourselves, well, that doesn't really help us too much. And that's when we pivoted a little bit and said, in fact, Brenda Robert, our marketing department, said, oh, what we should do is look at this whole new trend here. I'm seeing a lot of ransomware come up. Could we apply the technology to that? And it turned out we could, and it was like 99.9% effective against that. And then we iterated over it really quickly, made a product-specific fit, and that's really how the product evolved.
So walk me through the moment that the idea for BlackFog really crystallized for you.
So the idea really crystallized, I guess. I had lunch one day with a forensics expert at a company that previously acquired another business of mine, and I was talking to some of these police guys, and they were talking about how they do forensic analysis, how they retrieve stolen laptops. And they always really focused on the device itself. And so we were chatting away, and I just sort of said, but why isn't anyone focusing on the data? Because the laptops are commoditizing really quickly, right? Back in the day, laptops were like $5,000. And so they were taking out insurance policies against them, and there were technologies to prevent the theft, etc. But everyone was missing the point. It was never about the laptop. It was always about protecting the data. But no one really had a solution for that, so they therefore protected the hardware. And so that's when we thought, oh, there's a really big opportunity here. We should develop a product that focuses just on the data component of it. And that was really the genesis of BlackFog.
I mean, perhaps you can go into a bit more detail about what was the conventional wisdom at the time and why was it so wrong?
Yeah, so the conventional wisdom at the time was if you build a really strong fortress around your laptop hardware, network, etc., you're going to protect the bad guys from getting in. And whilst I don't know that it was wrong, and that's still true to some extent, I don't think it encapsulates the entire story. It's not the 360 view of a criminal. Those cyber criminals will get in. If you think about it from a traditional military type operation, they'll tunnel in, they'll parachute in, they will get into your building. So what if they're already there? How are we going to stop them stealing the crown jewels? Well, you can't with EDR type technologies and existing perimeter-based defense. And so, BlackFog evolved the anti-data exfiltration product line because it was all about focusing on the data movement. So if the data is moving outside the building and you're already present, we can take care of business. And really that's the genesis, and that's why it works in so many different vectors.
Mm-hmm. So let's look at BlackFog. Mm-hmm. Why this problem? Why you, and why now?
So why BlackFog and why now? Well, I think the acceleration of technology with AI has really changed the game. Yes, we're really effective at stopping ransomware, and that's really, some of our core business. But what's happened is the time frames have shortened dramatically now. So it used to be that you would have an 18-month strategic advantage in technology to really capitalize on it and then keep running really fast. But now we're talking 6 months, right? You've got vibe coding, you've got all these sorts of things going on at the macro level. I think we have had the luxury of starting early in 2015, perfecting a technology, going through many iterations to the point now where it's sort of come of age, if you will. It's like there's a new lease on life in the sense that not only do we solve ransomware, but all the three vectors, ransomware, then shadow AI, which is the new really big problem in most corporations because they don't even know what's going on in terms of the use of AI. And then we haven't even got into the future. So, we've got a past, present, and future story there because Agentic AI is the next shoe to drop here. And I think that's one of the great things about BlackFog is that one technology, one platform, three vectors, and solution for each one of them.
And finally, what did you believe in the early days when setting up BlackFog that has turned out to be completely right?
So what did we believe in the early days, I think, is it's all about the data. It's always about the data. Everybody thinks about it as device-level protection and network protection, but it's got to be on device because that's where the threats are. That's where you can contain them, and it's all about the data movement because every attack starts the same way. It targets individuals on their machine, and once they're on that machine as a beachhead, then that's where they spread from, and that's where they spread throughout the entire organization. So if you can contain it into one device and lock them down, you have a strategic advantage that no one else has.